The GPS collar that's been on an elk cow for the past 3 years and 4 months, and it's got an automatic drop-off programmed into it, into this little box right here. So that was around the cow's neck, and on April 1st at 6 a.m. that popped open.
We're studying the Clark's Fork elk herd. We're standing in the northern portion of the migratory segment of the Clark's Fork herd. The Clark's Fork elk herd is partially migratory. About 30% of it leaves this area and moves up to Summer Range inside Yellowstone Park in the headwaters of the Lamar River in summer. The rest of the herd stays put year-round on the Absaroka front, more out in the foothills. And so we're studying some of the contrasts between those migratory elk and the non-migratory elk, which over the past decade have become quite stark. Low productivity of these migratory elk that move into the park in summer versus relatively high productivity of the non-migratory elk, which has raised some questions and some management challenges for the Game and Fish Department, who initiated this study in 2007 in cooperation with the university and the Fish and Wildlife Service. I suppose so. You know, these elk, emotions aside, they face a lot of environmental challenges at this point. This area has got reintroduced wolves. It's got an expanding grizzly bear population. It's had a long-term drought. These elk have a relatively high prevalence of brucellosis. So there are a lot of things going on. Wolves are one of the things that we're looking at among a suite of other issues that this elk herd faces, particularly the migratory portion of the herd. Well, the collars were put on about 75 elk in winters 2007 and 2008. They're GPS collars. They log locations that are obtained by satellite in a little store on board computer, and so we get a location every 3 hours of that animal that's carrying that collar for most of the year. So the collar we just picked up has several thousand locations of that particular cow over the past 3 years on board. We have been waiting for this information for several years, and it's what unlocks a lot of the other components of the study. We will know from these collars where these cows moved, which habitats they used, what the conditions were in those habitats in terms of what these elk eat. We'll also know, because we monitor wolf movements too, what their exposure was to wolves who are collared on a similar relocation schedule to the elk. In fact, exactly the same schedule. So anybody can tell you that when wolves come down a drainage into the middle of a bunch of elk are going to get out of the way. But what we don't know is, when the wolves leave the drainage, are the elk still stirred up, or do they go back to feeding? How frequently does that happen?